Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions. For the first time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball's world championship. Can you believe it?
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tyler. Hold on, sorry. And thank God I am finally back. I was supposed to record this past weekend, but for whatever reason, my Wi-Fi decided to stop working. So because we just finished the Toronto series last night in embarrassing fashion, I am going to cover very, very briefly the Seattle series and the Guardian series, and then I will go into a little bit more detail about the Blue Jay series from the last couple of games, and then I will go into where we are going forward. But before I do that, this is for Verizon. Because, oh my God, why do I wake up on Sunday morning and find out that A, I don't have any internet, and B, Verizon can't fix it? And when I called Verizon on Sunday, they said, oh, there's nothing that we can do right now. Give it a couple of hours, maybe it'll come back on. It doesn't come back on, so I go, okay. I call them later that night. We schedule something. Somebody comes in on Monday. Somebody comes to my house. On Monday, the guy says, oh, well, it doesn't seem like you're getting any service. No shit, buddy. I'm not getting any service. So he moves the box around. He can't figure out what's going on. So he says, all right, I think I know what's going on. The problem is with us. Something is preventing us from sending you the signal. And you know what? No, I'm giving you one more. So he says, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to figure out from another technician what we can do. It might be a couple more hours. It might be another day. I say, okay, that's fine. Tuesday rolls around. Zero Wi-Fi still. So I say, okay, I'm getting really sick of this. I give Verizon a call again. And they tell me, oh, well, it looks like somebody pressed a magic button. And I'm not even kidding you. The lady tells me, oh, somebody pressed a button and it's preventing you from getting Wi-Fi. What? What do you mean someone pressed a fucking button and it's preventing me from getting Wi-Fi? So I blatantly told her, I was like, if my Wi-Fi is not back in 24 hours, I'm switching companies, and I'm going to be very angry about it. And she goes, oh, no worries, sir, it'll be back, yada, yada, yada. Wednesday comes around. No Wi-Fi again. Big surprise. So, I call them back, and they say, oh, we're still working on it, give us a few hours. Okay. Thursday morning, I wake up, finally have Wi-Fi back. All because some dumbass somewhere pressed a magic button that prevented me from getting signal from Verizon. So if it happens again, Verizon, I am leaving you and I'm going to Cox, okay? I don't care. No excuses. Don't let some jackass press a magic button that prevents me from getting Wi-Fi. It's the stupidest thing you could have told me. I would have preferred you tell me the fucking tower was hit by lightning, for crying out loud. No, some jumbo schmumbo down there in East Timbuktu decided to press a button and prevent me from getting Wi-Fi. Like, eat sand, buddy. So it, like, everything's all out of whack now because of Verizon, so thanks for that. I just needed to get that off my chest. And I'm going to very, very summarize some of the big points I wanted to get to from the last week's, or what was supposed to be last week's episode. And I want to go in depth on the Jaren Duran situation with what happened in Cleveland, because I have some very strong feelings about it. So, one thing, based last week, we had 3 games in Cleveland, and 3 games against Seattle. We went 3-3. So we went 500, which is basically a common fucking trend for this team. One thing I noticed, birds, not the time. One thing I noticed is we fell behind early in every single loss of those 6 games. We would be down by the second, or by the start of the second inning, or by the end of the second inning. and we never would come back from that. We would also always struggle with runners in scoring position and striking out when the game was on the line. Two bright spots from last week, three actually. Jarren Duran, Alex Bregman, and Brian Bayo. Brian Bayo made his return last week, looked phenomenal. He didn't look like the old version of himself where he didn't really seem to control the strike zone. He knew where his stuff was going. He had good control of his stuff. Two areas where I thought the Red Sox really struggled. One was in the bullpen, especially with Liam Hendricks and Zach Kelly, who was later optioned. And then Tanner Houck has consistently struggled out of the first inning. Now, I'm not including the Blue Jay series there. Again, this is just Seattle and Cleveland. Hendricks coming back from Tommy John, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's going to be some regression there. His velocity's still down. His control is still down. He's walking a ton of people. And if you're a relief pitcher, your job is to keep people off base, not allow them to get on base via the walk. So Seattle, we won the first game of the series, lost the second and the third game. We won 4-2 in the first, lost 8-3 in the second, lost 5-4 in the third. Cleveland, we lost the first game 4-5. We won the second game 7-3, and then we blew their doors off in the third game 13-3. That third game, I need to address something very important. That I'm going to do my best not to sum up or kind of like wrap up all of the Cleveland Guardians fans and label all of them as awful baseball fans. But for those of you who aren't aware, Jarren Duran has been very, very open and very public about his mental health challenges and his suicide attempt in the most recent Netflix documentary, The Clubhouse. According to Jarren Duran, he put a loaded gun in his mouth, pulled the trigger, and the gun didn't go off. And thank God the gun didn't go off. And as somebody who has dealt with my own mental health struggles and a lot of past trauma that I have not gotten over, going through a suicide attempt and living through it is something that changes you as a person. And for a Cleveland Guardians fan to shout out from the stands, "You should have killed yourself when you had the chance," I pray to God I never find out who that Cleveland Guardians fan is, and I never find out where he lives. Because I would be the first person to knock on his door and shove my foot right up his ass. I don't care what kind of, person you claim to be. There is a line in baseball that you do not cross. You can heckle somebody. You can yell out from the stands, "Hey, Duran, I heard you brush your teeth with a new toothbrush every day, you bum." That's fine. Then that when you cross the line, you need to be held accountable. And according to the Guardians organization and Major League Baseball, they are forming a formal investigation, and they are going to try and prevent this fan from ever attending a Cleveland Guardians baseball game again. To that, I say, well, good, first of all. And the second thing is I really wish that the security would have let Duran handle it himself, because I can promise you, if you've ever seen Jarren Duran, the dude is jacked, first of all, and he knows how to settle issues like that. That fan would not have left the stadium breathing or in one piece. And honestly, comments like that deserve for your breath to be taken away and your body parts to be dismembered. I'm sorry. I might sound like an a-hole for saying that, but you don't yell something like that at a person who has been that open about their mental health struggles. The reason why people don't take men's mental health struggles seriously is because of situations like that. Because we get made fun of. Because we get heckled from stands how we should have killed ourselves when we had the chance. It is unnecessary, and there is no place in baseball for shit like that to take place. So that happening, I mean, you know it's bad when the rest of the fans around the Guardians fan are telling him, like, dude, you can't say that. That crosses the line. And I pray to God that I never cross that fan on the street, because it will not end well for him. So we as a society need, and it's May, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, we need to take mental health more serious, especially with men, than we do as a society. So hopefully, and thankfully, Jaron Duran sharing his story has caused a lot more people, especially men, to seek help from counselors, from crisis advisors, anybody like that. So I just needed to get that off my chest. Last couple of things I wanted to go over really quickly before jumping into the Toronto series. Hey, guys, I just asked you to stop. Shush. Shh. Shh. Sorry. And I'm going to emphasize this even more now. Roman Anthony needs to get called up. I originally said, let him get better in AAA. We are hovering over 500, barely. And this lineup, this organization, this clubhouse needs something to spark them. 1 second. This organization desperately needs something to get them going again. And I genuinely think calling up Roman Anthony would solve that problem. Now, where he would fit, unfortunately, it looks like somebody is getting cut. I don't know who it would be. My guess is you're moving somebody out of the bullpen, sending him down, calling up Roman Anthony, and then you are having Rob Refschneider strictly only pinch hit, moving Roman Anthony to center, probably, or even right field. But I genuinely feel like his performance, his numbers, he has arguably been the best hitter in AAA baseball, especially in our organization. It's time. We can't keep hovering around 500. It is time for his ass to be on this major league roster tomorrow. Like, I understand that we are playing the Twins, like, literally in the next hour and a half, and he didn't get the call up, but it needs to happen sooner or later, because I'm getting tired of this hovering over 500 BS, and I genuinely think that his bat, his name, holds so much weight that it could alter the entire course of the season. Marcelo Meyer has also been absolutely lighting it up in AAA. He leads the team in RBIs, and it's almost double that of Roman Anthony's. I think he's almost at 30 now. These stats were from Tuesday, so he might even have more than 30. And surprisingly, Yasmani Grandal has also been hitting the piss out of the baseball right now. He's got a ton of RBIs. I think he's got 3 home runs already, and he just got to AAA like 2 weeks ago. So I genuinely think it's time to call up at least 2 of them. I think Roman Anthony for sure needs to get called up, and then Yasmani Grandal is the second one. Blake Sabol does nothing for me. Get his ass out of the organization and get Yasmani Grandal up here. Because at least with Yasmani Grandal, you know he's not good defensively, but you know he can at least hit major league pitching. Blake Sabol can't do either of those. So he does not have a place in my heart in this organization, and he needs to get the F out. All right, so going into the Toronto series, we're coming off of that 13-3 ass whooping of the Cleveland Guardians, and our bats explode in Game 1. We have 7 runs in the first 3 innings, 5 of them coming off of home runs. No surprise, we have another 3-run home run in there too. So we basically lead the league, and it's not even close in 3-run home runs. Garrett Crochet, while he wasn't dominant when it come to his strikeouts, he kept Toronto from matching our offensive explosion, and we ended up winning 10-2. Great. No problem with that. I do have a problem with what happened in games 2 and 3. Game 2. Lucas Giolito was coming back from basically 600 days away from being a major league starter. It was Tommy John, leg, elbow, shoulder, you name it, he was dealing with the injury. And if you've listened to anything I have said on this podcast, I have said frequently, I do not want Lucas Giolito on this team. And I owe him an apology for that, at least for his performance in Game 2. Lucas Giolito, through the first 5 innings, looked like one of the better pitchers in our rotation. He had awesome control of the strike zone. His changeup looked filthy like always. And I was completely blown away with his performance. In the 6th inning, he looked exhausted, and he gave up 2 homers that essentially put the Toronto Blue Jays back in the game. By the time the 6th inning was done, it was 4... Yeah, no, so by the time the inning was done, it was 4-2. We went from having a 4-0 lead to Giolito giving up those 2 home runs, and I was like, shit, here we go. And then we go to Garrett Whitlock, who, since the beginning of the season, has been our most reliable bullpen arm. And we've been using him in high leverage situations. We've been using him in middle relief situations. And he goes and gives up the lead. And then it's a tie game. And then Justin Slayton comes into the game and blows it. Vladdy hits an absolute piss missile. And we ultimately end up losing 6-1 second. Yeah, we ended up losing 6-7. For whatever reason, I thought that was incorrect. But in Game 2, you can make the argument, yeah, Lucas Giolito cost the Red Sox that game. I would make the argument against it. I would make the argument that he actually kept the Red Sox in that game for so long. Because if you were to tell me at the beginning of his start, Lucas Giolito is going to go through the 5th inning without allowing an earned run, I would have told you you're on crack. But the fact that we made it into the 6th inning before Toronto scored a run, I think speaks to the work that Breslow and Bailey are doing with our pitchers, and especially getting them more familiar with their stuff, their velocity, and all of the inner workings of their arsenal. Now, Game 3. Game 3 is another one of those games where you knew once you made it into the 9th inning, the game was over. Unfortunately, giving up 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th doesn't, allow you to win games, period. We had a lead, and then we just it really just comes down to Justin Slayton having a really bad week. If Justin Slayton is on top of his shit like he always is, we win probably 8 of the last 10 games. And we would be first place in the AL East. So it really comes down to our bullpen absolutely blowing balls. Not only in Toronto, but also in Seattle, too. And what bothers me about the Seattle series and the Blue Jays series is you had a chance to sweep both series, and your bullpen prevented you from doing that. More so the Toronto series, because you're coming off of a series victory in Cleveland where you just had the situation with Durant go down. You blow them out 13-3, and then you follow that up with a 10-2 victory in Toronto. Like, it was so deflating to watch our bullpen blow not only the second but the third game of the series also. And it's frustrating watching this team consistently fluctuate over 500, either a game over or a game lower, since basically the Mookie Betts trade. And I've said my piece on that. I'm not going to go there any further. But where that leaves us now, we are still in second place in the division, and that is the only reason why I haven't put my foot through my monitor yet. The Yankees are in first place at 18-13, which, oh wow, they're 5 games over 500. Well, the Red Sox are 2 games back of them. They are 17-16, so we are 1 game over 500 and 2 games out of the division lead. Toronto's right behind us, 1 game below 500. They are 15-16. They are 3 games back. The Rays are 14-17. They are 4 games back, and Toronto is floundering in last place. They are 12-18, 5 games back. Really quick blurb about Toronto. I don't know what they are doing down there in Baltimore, but they need to learn that pitching is what wins games in this league. You can have Gunnar Henderson, you can have Holiday, you can have all of these stars, but if you don't have anybody to throw out a first pitch, you're not going to win ball games. And letting Corbin Burnes walk out the door and sign with the Diamondbacks is going to haunt them for the next decade. Now, it's way too early to look at the wild card, but we are a half game out of a wild card spot. But I did want to mention that simply because I think it's noteworthy. I know I'm talking kind of fast here. I don't want this being a very long podcast episode. I'm only highlighting like one series here because if I wanted to include all of my notes from last week's games and then this week's games, I'd be here for 2 hours, and nobody wants to listen to me out for that long. So, our next segment is the Red Sox History Minute. Today is May 2nd. So, according to this, on May 2nd in 1938, the Red Sox defeated Detroit 4-3 with Lefty Grove getting the win. This starts a streak of 20 consecutive home wins for Grove, which was broken against St. Louis in 1941. So, Lefty Grove essentially went 3 straight seasons without recording a loss at Fenway Park, which, I mean, that's pretty freaking badass. So I just thought that was a really fascinating blurb. So, next series preview. I'm not doing weeks. I'm only doing series, and then I will record my next episode probably Sunday or Monday. We have 3 games against Minnesota, who is a very bad offensive team. Now, this comes at a really good time for us because we just found out that Walker Buehler is down for at least 15 days with shoulder inflammation. My guess is it's probably going to be about 20 to 25. He'll probably miss a full month of baseball. Unfortunately, when Walker Buehler was looking like he was back to his all-star self, he gets hurt. But if there is any time to be facing a bad offensive team, it's when Walker Buehler should be pitching. They are not hitting well, Minnesota, whatsoever. I'm going to pull up their team stats really quick, and they 21st in batting average, 18th in runs. They are in the upper echelon of pitching teams. They are 7th in earned runs average and 7th in whip. As a team, they are batting .253. Their second highest batting average is .246, and that's Byron Buxton. He leads the team with 6 home runs, and Ty France leads the team with 18 RBIs. The only thing that concerns me about this team is their pitching, because their pitching is up there with some of the best in the league. The only thing that isn't is the amount of home runs that they allow. They are ranked 16th in home runs allowed with 34. But other than that, 10th in batting average against, 7th in ERA. So, actually, let me see something really quick. Overall, their ERAs on the road are also really terrible. Like Griffin Jacks, their best bullpen arm, has a 7.50 ERA out of the bullpen. Bailey Ober, their best starter, has a 5.51 ERA on the road. Joe Ryan has a sub-4. It's a 3.71 ERA on the road in 17 innings. So overall, it looks like they simply struggle against opponents on the road. I mean, they're 13-19, 7 games out of first, so they just struggle, period. But on the road more so than anywhere else. But their pitching staff is good, and that's the only thing that concerns me, is because the Red Sox lead the league in strikeouts. So, looking at the series, we have 3 games against the Twins, tonight at 7:10, tomorrow at 4:10, and then Sunday at 1:35. Tonight we have Joe Ryan versus Brian Bayo. Joe Ryan's 2-2 with a 3.18 ERA, 39 strikeouts. Brian Bayo is 2-0 with a 3.27 ERA and 7 strikeouts. On Saturday, it is Bailey Ober versus Hunter Dobbins. Now, Hunter Dobbins is filling in for Walker Buehler. Hunter Dobbins is probably going to stay on this team for the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. Bailey Ober, as I've mentioned, does not pitch well on the road. He is 3-1 with a 4.13 ERA and 25 strikeouts. Hunter Dobbins is 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA and 11 strikeouts. Sunday's game, May 4th, Star Wars Day at Fenway. It is Crochet Day also. You have Chris Praddock, who is 0-3 with a 5.60 ERA and 22 strikeouts, going up against the head hog, Garrett Crochet, who is 3-2. He should be 4-1 with a 2.05 ERA and 50 strikeouts. Now, Garrett Crochet is in third place in the AL, in the American League, in strikeouts with 50. My prediction for the series is we lose tonight, the Brian Bayo game, because the Red Sox have struggled against Joe Ryan in the past, and Brian Bayo has been phenomenal through the first 2 starts since coming back from injury. Unfortunately, I think that changes tonight. And then I think we win in a tight game. I think Hunter Dobbins goes like 5 or 6 strong. Bailey Ober, even though he struggles on the road, pitches very well, and I think it comes down to our bullpen, and I do think our bullpen is better than the Twins, and we shut the door on them. It's probably going to be like a 6-4, 7-5 kind of victory. And then on Sunday, I think that we absolutely light up Minnesota for like 9 or 10 runs. It's also Crochet Day, so I don't see them getting very much offense. It's probably going to be like a 10-2, 10-3 victory. So I have us winning the series, and hopefully the next time that I pod, the Red Sox are, but the Red Sox finally reach either 19 or 20 wins. If we get a sweep, I will be the first one to be calling for the duck boats, because if we get a sweep, it would be the first of the season, and I would be very, very happy with that. But again, my prediction's 2 out of 3. We probably lose the Bayo game just because Brian Bayo has looked too good for him to sustain how good he has been. Unfortunate injury update, as I have already mentioned. Walker Buehler is headed to the 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation. Typically, shoulder inflammation keeps players out of the lineup for at least 2 weeks. So the fact that he is a pitcher, my guess is he's probably not going to be allowed to throw a ball over the next, I want to say, literally 15 days. So my best guess is he'll get a rehab start in about 15 to 16 days, and then we'll be seeing him back up in Boston probably by the end of the month. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but because he is on the 15-day IL, it's going to be at least 15 days. One other thing to keep an eye out on, and I just double-checked the Red Sox lineup, Christian Campbell is out of the lineup again for the second night in a row. According to Alex Cora, he's dealing with a rib injury. The fact that he has missed the last 2 games in a row tells me it might be a little bit more serious, but they have not announced an IL stint. So maybe they're just giving him a couple of days rest. I'm praying that I don't get a notification about Christian Campbell landing on the IL, because Christian Campbell has been arguably one of the best hitters on the Red Sox, and without question, the best rookie in the American League so far. Looking at his stats, just announced, this kind of sort of breaking news, Christian Campbell announced as the American League Rookie of the Month. Keep in mind, Christian Campbell was a rookie in High A Greenville this time last year. In 29 games, he had 103 at-bats. He hit .301 on base of .407, slugging .495 for an OPS of .900. 4 home runs, 8 doubles, 12 RBIs, a WRC plus of 156, and he had 2 stolen bases. All of those numbers are according to Tyler Milliken over at Section 10 and at 985 The Sports Hub, so go follow him on Twitter. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but the fact that he is scratched from his second consecutive game does concern me. Overall, some final thoughts. We just need to be better. Offensively, we need to stop striking out as much. We need to learn how to hit situationally. If we know that there are runners in scoring position, please do not swing at balls 10 feet over your head. It's extremely frustrating watching this team leave scoring opportunities on the base paths, knowing that we can hit pretty well after. Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman are the only reason as a team why we are not under 500. They are carrying the load for the entire lineup because Tristan Casas literally doesn't look like a professional hitter anymore. And I think next podcast episode on either Sunday or Monday, I am going to hammer Tristan Casas like a effing like a freaking nail, because I have not been hard enough on him. Their bullpen, specifically Liam Hendricks and Justin Slayton, need to be better. Garrett Whitlock, I'm going to give you a slight free pass because you have been so phenomenal since the beginning of the season. You had 1 bad game. Justin Slayton, you can make the argument, cost us both of the Toronto games. And like I said, we need to stop striking out as much, and we need to learn how to put the ball in play with runners on base. And I'm not talking about when we have 2 runners on and we hit a home run. I'm talking about like when it's a tie game, 2 outs, runner on first. Like, there's no reason why we should be swinging at the first pitch and popping it up to the catcher, first baseman, or swinging at balls out of the zone. And as I said earlier in the podcast, and this is kind of my final thought, the only thing that is keeping me going, keeping me from abandoning ship with this team, is the fact that we are second in the division, 2 games out of first place, and we have a very real opportunity to not only make up those 2 games on the Yankees, but possibly take over the first place in the division. It's not necessarily because I don't have faith in the Yankees. It's more so I know for a fact the Twins cannot hit our pitching. Now, the entire American League East has really sucked ass the entire season. Most of the American League East, even the division leaders, are negative when it comes to a run differential, meaning they are allowing more runs than they've scored. So I still see the American League as completely wide open for the Red Sox to come in and win at least the American League East. Now, the Tigers right now look like they are kind of holding down the number one seed, but it's way too early to be looking into seedings. I just pray that the Red Sox figure their shit out, and if that means calling up Roman Anthony and sending somebody down, I don't care. Because not only is it time, not only has he shown that he has the offensive capability of being an everyday major leaguer, but the Red Sox need that spark plug in the lineup. So hopefully, Bayo proves me wrong tonight, continues his fantastic pitching so far, but hopefully when we come back on Sunday or Monday, we are talking about a much, much better baseball team. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for listening, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Outside of that one Cleveland Guardians fan, you, sir, can go F yourself.